Welcome to Spiced Up Civics, your Minneapolis-based youth-led spin on a certain better-known YouTube series. Whether you're here for the poultry or the politics, we're glad you are watching. We are joined today by Conrad Lange Zbikowski, who is running for Park Board in District 4. He will be answering some spiced up questions while eating his spiced up food of choice, which in this case is wings from the Kitchen by Baked brand here at the Midtown Global Market. As always, we have a lineup of 5 hot sauces made right here in Minnesota: Tequila Sunrise, Crybaby Craig's, Burn Your Face from Lovejoy's, Red Eye Hot Sauce, and because we wanted to get a little bit spicier, from our neighbors in Wisconsin, we have Hellfire Dune. So, before we start with those hot sauces, I want to just ask you if you would mind introducing yourself to our audience and explain why you chose to run for office.
Yeah, so my name is Conrad Lange Zbikowski. I'm running for Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board for District 4. And the reason why I chose to run for District 4 was because I was kind of leaving the party unit, and I was supporting a candidate who is running for District 4. And we had a situation where 3 candidates had all said that they wanted to leave that contest. And so there was really kind of a need for a strong progressive candidate for District 4. And so, I've been involved with government at the state level, at the local level, for about 13 years. And so I wanted to be a good voice for the district and do all the effort that I could. So it's been a fun campaign so far, and I'm glad to be here today.
Yeah, perfect. Well, we thank you for joining us, and obviously we thank you for running. So I want to get started with our first hot sauce, which is Tequila Sunrise, coming up hot, from Black Roots. So we've got just the wings here today. If you want to grab a wing, then we like to let our guests do
put it on myself.
Do their own choice, and I like to be pretty liberal with it.
So just to be clear, this sauce has a little nozzle or whatever you call it, the top of it. So it is a real hot sauce. It's not any kind of barbecue or anything.
Absolutely, yeah.
And these just came right out of the fryer, so they're a little bit hot. So I had to. We'll let go. Let's try this.
All right. So, if you don't mind, I'm going to get into that first question we have for you. And my first question is, so your website says that you'd like to prioritize parks for all people. Would you mind elaborating a little bit more about what that means to you?
Yeah, so I think a lot of people care about the park that is in their backyard, and sometimes people have a little bit of a private ownership, of that park, and it means a lot to them. But I want to make sure that all the parks in Minneapolis are available to everybody. And so an example of that is, for example, Eloise Butler Wildflower Garden and Bird Sanctuary. So right now, that's on Theodore Wirth Parkway. If you've ever visited, it's a wonderful Minneapolis park. It's really one of our crown jewel parks with the wildflowers, with the nature trails and all that. But the only way to get there really right now is either with a private car, in terms of your own car that you drive and park there, or they do have a limited amount of bike parking, and it does get filled up. And it's not really safe because there's no separate protected bike path or anything. So when I'm talking about parks for all people, I want to make sure that everybody can enjoy our parks. They're public parks. The public pays for them. Everybody in their tax dollars pays for our parks. And so that's what I mean, that I want to make sure they're accessible with accessible bathrooms, things like that, so everybody can enjoy them. And they don't just become extensions of, one group of people's kind of domain.
Perfect. Yeah. And then how do you feel about that Tequila Sunrise sauce?
It had a little bit of a kick at the end, but we're only on the first one.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I say it definitely builds, and this is one of the ones I like the early sauces because they're more about the flavor and
Yeah,
not about
more
just
more
like
aroma instead of having the active ingredient kind of kick in.
right. So, with that, I'd like to get into our next one, which is Crybaby Craig's Garlic Habanero, which is one of the more popular hot sauces here
Yes,
in
it is. Yeah,
Minneapolis. And I'm going to use the other side of the same wing. You can do
yeah,
the same, or if you want to
yeah.
grab a new one.
I learned from past episodes it helps to make small little bites and just enjoy the flavor of the sauce and not necessarily see myself eating a corn dog on camera.
This is true. Yes, it's one of those things where that's how you know you're a true fan. So this one doesn't have a nozzle, so it's easier to get a lot on there.
Yeah, I have to be careful. So they have this sauce at my neighborhood bar,
Mm,
and the bar has a corn dip where it's kind of a cheese and corn dip, but it doesn't really come with any peppers in the dip because most people don't like spice, at
sure,
least here in Minnesota.
it's
And
true.
so they have the Cryberry Craigs at the bar, and I'll kind of drizzle in a crisscross pattern on the corn dip.
Yeah. So if you want to get in that next bite, all right. So back to the questions. What is one of the most pressing issues facing Minneapolis today, and why?
Well, if the question is taken as the city as a whole, I think we're recording this on June 18th, and um, from a whole lot of different directions, community safety, public safety is at the top of everybody's mind, and I think that includes how the city responds to any federal actions that happen in the city of Minneapolis. So I put out an email recently kind of talking about that. And the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board is maybe very rare in other kinds of government groups where we have our own independent police force. And so it's about 31 active officers. And so the whole issue of how we respond to what federal agencies are doing when it comes to personal information, when it comes to people enjoying our parks. If somebody wants to have their quinceanera at Elliott Park or something, is that going to how do we that's a question right now. We're seeing in Los Angeles where ICE is breaking up swap meets for farmers markets, stuff like that. So um, I think that the city of Minneapolis has its separation ordinance, and I think the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board can have a stronger position. We've seen where there's some question as to how the city of Minneapolis is coordinating to some degree, depending on if it's an immigration case versus if it's some other kind of case. And the truth of the matter is, the federal agencies are lying. They have lied in court. They've been caught lying in court. And so I don't think we can have the same position as we had during the last administration that they're going to be truthful about the kind of investigations they're doing. And so because the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board does have law enforcement and public safety as part of its mission for the parks, that allows us as a 9-member board to have our own policy and kind of uh, protect our residents when they're in their parks, and when they use rec centers, when they use youth sports, senior art programs, all that kind of stuff. So I would say that it's an issue that's not necessarily just parks, of course, but it intersects with parks because of the way that those personal information and public safety intersect with all that.
Perfect. Yeah, and I know like that's especially a lot of people don't see how like you know that issue affects us at a state level, at a local level. They just kind of see it as a federal thing. But I hadn't even thought about it about in terms of parks. So let's say you do get elected to the park board. what is one idea that you have that would help sort of put a stop or like combat that?
Yeah, so I think personal information when it comes to things that could be subpoenaed by a federal agency for an immigration investigation. So, do we have to ask for social security numbers? I am 32 years old. When I started going to like the dentist office back in the 90s, they would ask for your social security number at the dentist office. They don't do that anymore. And there's good reason not to do that. And I think, things like that, asking for a home address. Do we really need to know where you live in order to sign you up for youth sports? Phone numbers. I mean, it's how do we work with this to have it protected from any kind of federal actions that are counter to the interests of our residents. Remember, Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board serves all the residents of Minneapolis, no matter your documentation status. And when another agency is against that, to whatever degree we can within the law, without breaking any kind of new federal laws or putting us at greater risk or something, I still want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to serve those residents.
Perfect. Well, thank you. And then how about that Crybaby Craig sauce?
Well, as I said before, this is definitely one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the habanero. It's it has a little bit more depth than some of the other peppers.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing some background research before this episode, and there's the peppers where they are growing them to be ever hotter,
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just kind of like you're basically having a factory for spiciness, and you're not as much flavor.
Right.
So I like this, as you said before, with the lower sauces here, where they're not as spicy, but they have a little bit more flavor that is fun. So I enjoy that.
Nice. All right. Well, I say we get into our next one.
All right.
Which I think is a bit of a jump up.
Okay.
But time will tell.
Now this one I haven't had before.
Yes. So Lovejoy, shout out to Lovejoy's Burn Your Face hot sauce.
Oh, okay. I saw
Yes.
this on a previous episode. Yeah.
Oh yeah. This is a favorite of a lot of our candidates. So I'm gonna go for a new wing.
Yeah, take a little bit more of
this
this.
time. This is another one with the nozzle back on top. So.
And I think this is a smaller nozzle.
Right.
And it's also a little bit more viscous, so that's fun.
Yes.
So that slows it down.
For sure.
Come on. There we go.
Perfect.
Oh, sorry.
You're all good.
I was getting ahead of you there.
You're all good.
You ready?
Yes,
all right,
I'm
let's
all
do
good.
this.
All right. So, what do you think has best prepared you, whether it be through your life or your work or whatever, to be on the Minneapolis Park Board?
I think so. Maybe a traditional answer would be I worked at the Minnesota State Senate when I was first in college. Things like that. A traditional answer might be that I worked at different companies, or I worked at the University of Minnesota or something. But I think what really benefited me was working on different committees, whether it be like with your neighborhood group or with political committees, where people are independently elected. They're coming out there with different opinions, different ways that they want to approach things, and you have to negotiate. You have to find coalitions and make things happen. And I had people who call me and want me to do something, and I have to kind of try to convince them one way or another so that we can work together and move forward and things like that. So I think there's a mentor of mine who talks about there's campaigning and then there's governing. And campaigning is basically, there's a lot of marketing in a sense where, canvassing is like marketing. That's like a door-to-door salesman. That's kind of like marketing. There's, of course, a lot of direct mail. You see in other states where there's a lot more direct mail, stuff like that. Okay, great. You're marketing yourself. You have some ideas. You're moving forward. But actually governing, that takes working on a committee of people who you can't fire.
Right.
It's not like business with Donald Trump or anybody who said I'm a CEO of a big company and I'm gonna we're talking about some people. This is of course on June 18th again. Some people I don't know, they're floating the idea of Mark Cuban running as a Democrat or something for president. I was like, no, that guy has no clue how to govern. He's never been able to work with somebody he can't fire.
Right.
And so the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board is a legislative body, kind of executive legislative, where they appoint a superintendent. And so a lot of the stuff is staff directed, where the staff will come up with some ideas and then the board will vote on it. But I look to be a much more active board member, where I love to talk to a park director, talk about their park, talk about their ideas for their park, stuff like that, and then work forward in that manner. But it's about building coalitions and working together. And so I don't think having necessarily campaign experience or having business experience, I don't think that's necessarily the best way to do it. I think it can be a volunteer committee, it can be a political committee, it can be your neighborhood association, but having that experience, I think, is good because you have to make friends and do things together, even when you disagree, which is what we're dealing with in America right now.
Yeah. And on kind of a lighter note, I'm wondering, what is your go-to restaurant in the Twin Cities?
Okay, so I have a couple of answers for this. When I'm sad, I go to my neighborhood bar and I hang out with the servers there who all know me by name, unless somebody just got hired. And we talk, we have a good time. Now, it might be busy sometimes. It's not always that busy. The Vikings aren't playing right now, so I live in downtown, so the Vikings is a big part of things. So that's where I go when I'm sad. It's like I just want to have some Diet Coke and relax a little bit and not have to to be around people, but not necessarily have to talk to people. There's kind of a balance there where it helps. It's therapeutic. When I want to take out a friend, there is a restaurant that is owned by the Farmers Union called Farmers Kitchen and Bar. So that's a little bit fancier place to go. They have stuff that is grown locally. And then, it's a wonderful restaurant, high quality. And then when I want to go after a concert and I want to have an omelet at 2 a.m., which you're smiling, you kind of understand that feeling.
I do, yeah.
Then I go to the Nicollet Diner. Nice. And they also have Roxy's Cabaret, which is, the drag shows and all that. So we have a lot of fundraisers there for the drag shows. And I have a lot of fun with that. And, Minneapolis is a pretty small town when it comes to most things. But the Nicollet Diner is it's a 24-hour, 7 days a week, 365 restaurant. So I know that I can always get a meal no matter hour of the day. And I appreciate that. And I appreciate living in a big enough city where we can have that.
Yeah. And then lastly, how do we feel about burn your face? Did it burn your face?
My eyes are watering. Your eyes are watering.
They are, yeah.
So,
it's around this point where I start getting real emotional.
Yeah. Well, it's okay to cry.
Yes. Yeah.
It's okay to cry. So, I also got the drumstick here, so I'm ready for some more sauces.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, these next two are our hottest ones, although it does take a real big jump from here to there.
Okay.
So we've got Red Eye hot sauce, which is made in Minnetonka.
Okay.
Yes.
So those hockey warriors.
Oh yes. This one I don't think no nozzle on top.
No nozzle.
So,
okay, full throttle.
Yes.
And that one's less viscous, so you gotta really be careful here.
Yes.
Okay. There we go.
Perfect. All right, here we go.
I'm just seeing where you can see the ingredients where it's not totally pureed, but they're kind of like a little.
All right.
Oh, that's different.
Yes, it is.
Guajillo? Oh, it's the cider vinegar. Cider vinegar, apple juice. Yeah.
Yep.
I can taste that. Yeah.
This is one of the ones that kind of like you don't really taste it on your taste buds, and then you really feel it in the back of your throat, or at least I do.
Yeah, I'm feeling it on my tongue right now because that's where I put it. Yeah.
So, my favorite question to ask everyone we bring on is this next one, which is, who is your biggest role model?
So that is my mom. My mom was, so for a lot of my childhood, she was the only breadwinner. And so, she had a lot of fortitude through all that. And I just really appreciate that every decision that she made as a mom, she made that was going to put me in the best position to succeed. And I really appreciate that. And so every day that she's now retired, I want to make sure that she has what she needs to succeed. So I'm tearing up because of the hot sauce, not because I'm sad. Oh, man. All right, here we're opening up the milk.
Yeah.
So this might be your first episode with milk. I don't know. Is it?
I don't think so. No, I think we've brought out the milk before.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for those watching at home, the active ingredient, if I can open this, the active ingredient in peppers is hydrophobic. So water doesn't actually really wash it too much. And it's better to have something with fat in it that has lipids. And, well, if I can open it.
A little bit of a science lesson today. I like it.
Oh, yeah, that helps.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I've been through all these sauces before, so I know I got to save as much as I can for our next one.
So, yeah, so tear gas, not milk. Pepper spray, milk. Got it? Good.
All right. Well, do you want to move on to that final?
All right.
All right. So this is our final sauce. Tonight we've got Hellfire Hot Sauce Doomed. And I'll have you know,
I'm still crying here.
almost every candidate, I believe every single candidate we've had on has declared themselves doomed after having this.
Okay.
So this one's not easy. I'm going for a whole new one because this is a whole different experience.
Okay. Whole new one.
And this one normally I don't try to advise that much, but you really got to put as minimal as you can. A little goes a real long way. And my hands get shaky, so I put
And also this does not have a nozzle, so we have to be very careful here.
Yes, for sure.
All right, so you put about 1 inch and like 2 millimeters wide.
Yeah.
Where should I put it on? Right here.
And I'm just gonna, I know already I'm gonna need that. So we're just gonna get this ready now.
I'll wait for you. I'll wait for you this time.
Thank you. All right, you ready?
All right.
Cheers.
The hands.
Yes, there we go. That'll be good for a thumbnail. Ooh. Mm-mm.
That's good. That's good.
Isn't it?
Somehow it kind of it got to the back of my tongue instead of the front of my tongue, so I'm kind of feeling it there. But and it's intensifying a little bit as we talk here.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on this one?
You know, I'm thankful that all the Minnesota sauces do have some aroma beyond just the heat.
Right. I can't tell what flavor that's trying to be.
Well, yeah, it's something. Like I mean, maybe words don't describe it, but
They don't. Well, we've got one final question for you. And that final question is, what is one thing you want our audience to know about you or your campaign? Take your time.
yeah. It's coming in hot. It's coming in hot at the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah. And it like doesn't come fast enough out of here.
You know, I didn't realize that. You know, I thought, oh, Minnesota hot sauces can't be that hot.
That's why I went to Wisconsin.
Disqualified. That's why I went to Wisconsin.
Me and Chelsea, we sat down with all the sauces and we were like, you know what? None of these are quite hot enough. So that's from our neighbors.
So going back to my mom, because my mom, you know, could buy food and whatnot. That's how I was able to drink milk, because she had the budget to do so. My dad couldn't afford milk, so just made me think of that. Wow, that is hot. I am doomed. Not doomed, and you know, hopefully we'll all survive this. But you know.
Yeah. Well,
So the thing that I'd encourage people to go to, my website is czbi.org. There I have my vision. You can schedule a call with me. You can check out all the newsletters that I put out about different parks. The city convention is in late July here. And then the general election is November 4th, Tuesday, November 4th. For those watching in St. Paul, also your election is on Tuesday, November 4th. You also have mayor and mayor on the ballot. Special election for city council is in August, I think,
yep,
right?
August 12th.
August 12th. So there is no primary for either one of those. So be sure to show up for your general election, and I'll see you at the convention and at the polls.
Yeah, perfect. Well, thank you so much, Conrad, for running and for coming on the show. Everyone knows Minneapolis and St. Paul have the best parks in the world. So thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.